nowhere. There's the chat. Thank you, Bug. You're
There's
the
one.
best. All
Hey,
right.
Bug.
Welcome, everyone, to the Stay Creative podcast, a show that I started because I love being creative and talking to people about creativity. I've discovered that it's pretty much impossible to talk about creativity without talking about why we are creative. And some people are creative for any number of reasons. It's almost as unique as the art that we make, the reason that we make it. And I love that. And I want to share more of it with more people because I feel like in having conversations about what and why we create, other people will hear permission to do the same. And that is important to me, that other people feel empowered and welcomed to their own creative expression. So thank you guys very much, both my guests, my contestants here in the battle zone, and there's no battle, I'm sorry, and the folks listening, everybody who's joining us in chat and for the live stream today. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm excited to get started talking, but also chatting and responding to the folks who are here to listen, because they're as much a part of the live experience as we are, you know. But anyway, before I ramble on for the rest of eternity, let's introduce ourselves. Camoragi, I'll say that much about you. Will you please introduce yourself and your music to us, your project?
Okay. Well, thank you for inviting me, and I'm so happy to be here. And yes, I'm Camoragi. I'm 23 years old. And created this name, and if you can call it like persona or whatever, to make music, because I was kind of uncomfortable at first. Well, I'm still very a little bit shy, and I wanted to create a way for me to not be me while I was making music, but still talk about what I really wanted to. And I have only dropped one EP and one single for the time being, because it was very hard for me to actually get to that point, because I was learning in the process. I started actually making music on last year, and I play the guitar, a little bit of piano, and a little bit of traversal flute.
Nice.
And yeah, I like to sing, and that's me.
Yeah. Hey, I had no idea that this was your first EP that I recently listened to, and it blew my mind. I'm very excited to share some of it.
Thank you.
It is high quality stuff. Before we even move to the next person, I want to know: do you feel this externalization of your persona, this like Camoragi character, for lack of a better term? Do you feel like that's freed you up to make more honest things?
Yes, it for sure has. It has making it more intimate, and at the same time, with the comfortness, feeling comfortable of being kind of away of it, not being me. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that. I really like characters too. My second favorite creative thing is Dungeons and Dragons, which is all characters and nonsense. So
cool.
I'm with you. Yeah. But continuing on, Felknia, please introduce yourself and introduce your project.
Hi, so I'm Felknia. I'm a music composer from France. I'm 28.
Did you forget?
I still think I'm 27.
Because COVID took a year, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I like to make all kind of different music, but if I had a main genre, I would say I like to make movie scores and video games, OSTs and stuff like that, but I can go in many different ways. But I think my home is with an orchestra and stories to tell and characters to make adventures with.
Yeah. I have enjoyed that about your music very much. Like I can see, I obviously can't see what you saw when you made it, but I can absolutely see cinematic things happening just hearing your tunes. I love it.
Yeah, that's my goal. If you can see stories and characters and things out of my music, I'm happy.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. I love it. Let's continue on. Saul, please introduce yourself. Introduce your project, your projects, because you're kind of a solo and a band. Tell me about both.
I'm Saul Devlin. I am 21. I also had to remind myself that. Because I know there was a birthday some point in the last year, but it didn't really happen. A lot of things didn't. No, so I'm 21 and I'm from Belfast and currently in York, England, and I'm a sort of solo act, sort of singer-songwriter. Sometimes does a bit of production. Still studying though for that sort of stuff, and I'm also in a band called Wes Slater as the lead singer and partial songwriter for that as well,
Yeah.
which is a bit more of a grunge thing. Um, and it's yeah, there's no, and it's all a bit messy, but it's you've got my SoundCloud and Wesley have put up single, and we will have more music in the coming out of lockdown months. We've got plans to get back and get working again.
Nice. What's that?
But yeah, that's
What does that name mean? Tell me about Where's Slater?
Wes Slater.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually it's based off an animal. Um, there's it's it's like a little sort of mosquito. It's down in Northern Ireland. It's the only thing you could even call close to. It's not really a mosquito because we don't really have them.
Yeah.
It's a weird sort of fly thing, and and you would refer to it as a slater. So that's where and then the where part was just I thought it sounded good.
Nice.
So yeah, that's where it was from.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you at some point you could really try to incorporate this wildlife awareness portion of your project.
We're really trying to market it towards bugs and different wildlife.
Well, I've got a
Personally,
collaborator.
I mean that's why our first song was about June. We felt that they would prefer the summer months.
That's true. Yeah. Mostly they're sleeping the rest of the time. It's very thoughtful of you. Yeah. There's actually I don't know if you've met Bug, but a good friend and very very talented
my camera frozen.
Creator. Your camera is frozen, and now it's not. I think you're good now. And David's gone. Where'd David go? Oh my. Can anyone hear me?
Sorry, I think I just went there.
Yes, we can hear you.
Everything went crazy for a moment. That was wild. Anyway, Bug. He also makes music for bugs. You guys should make a split EP together or something crazy like that.
Oh, it'd be fantastic idea.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, moving on. David, return guest co-host. I'm gonna start calling my return guest co-hosts because you gotta help me. You gotta help me take good care of this show. At this point,
I don't know if I want that responsibility. It sounds like a lot.
Yeah. Introduce yourself and your project. Obviously, solo and band as well.
Yeah. So I'm David. I write some solo stuff just on SoundCloud as DavidWRCampbell because I'm creative and can just use my own name when coming up with stuff. But my main project probably be my band, Minor Inconvenience. We're Belfast-based hard rock band, which is an incredibly vague term. So maybe a bit stonery, a bit proggy, just you'll hear some of it later. You'll get it.
You should just honestly, create your own genre, North Irish metal. Well, people are going to expect like accordions or some folky, Celt metal or something if you put the word Irish in it.
We can add that.
Yeah, it's true.
It's absolutely Celtic metal.
It's not too late. Yeah,
it definitely exists.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again for being here, for introducing yourselves and your projects. I'd like to just go ahead and jump into the first song we're going to be listening to together. Camoragi, do you want to tell us some about the song you're sharing today?
Oh yes, for sure. So this song is called Infinite. This was actually the first song I introduced in IMF, and I made a video of it. And this song was inspired by a moment that I was living back last year. I think the date is in November. I don't remember the date, but it's in November.
Yeah.
And I was, we were in the middle still of the pandemic, and my sister just had my niece, and I had never seen it. Seen him. So I was so intrigued by this moment because I'm so close with my sister, and she sent a video of the baby, and having that impression of seeing this baby, and I saw so much of my sister in the baby and my brother-in-law, and it was like a moment that I I just got the guitar and I started to play the guitar and play chords, and I recorded. I basically record the structure of it in that day, and then of course I kept on working in the song. But that's kind of where it comes from.
That's excellent. I love that.
Thank you. And it's also just to add, it's because I was in the middle of feeling so that life didn't have any meaning, and then I saw life come there, and then you're like, well, maybe it does. It does have some meaning for you.
That's fantastic. I'll let's play the song, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. I want to specifically talk about this date relation to the EP and how you've got these dates included. So we'll jump back into more of that in just a moment. Oh man, everything about that, incredible, wonderful work.
Such a good song.
Nice, very good,
Thank you.
and well mixed too.
So tell, did you? We're gonna get to Bug's question in just a moment. I want to know that one for sure, but I want to know. There's no wrong answer to this question, but what did you do? Like what was your? Did you do everything top to bottom in that track, or did you sing, or did you make the beat and someone else produced? Like how did that get put together?
I did everything.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with any version of the answer, but like knowing that you top to bottom like every piece of that quality track and video
Thank
too.
you.
The video, I
I also did the video.
Yeah. I mean, it went so perfectly with the song. Like, it's truly a wonderful piece of art, top to bottom. Fantastic work. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you so
much. Before we get too far away from it, I do want to know: have you shared that song with your sister? And what does your family think about that? And the rest.
Actually, well, my sister is kind of the only one that I have told that I make music, but I haven't told the backstory to the song. I don't know why. I just haven't felt like, because I would have to explain that I was not feeling good at that moment, and I don't want to explain that.
Yeah.
But
your sister knows you. Your sister doesn't know Camoragi. Like, you can't have that distance. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I haven't actually shared all of it, but they do kind of know that I'm making music because I'm always singing in my room and I have a microphone and a guitar, but I haven't actually introduced them officially.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
They're
gonna be like, oh, she makes, like, I don't know, acoustic songs. That's all they hear, and then one day you're gonna show them this. That's gonna be a funny moment.
Just keep going and blow up. They'll just be on a billboard someday and be like, "Chameleon."
Driving past, you look at smattering similarities.
If that lady didn't have those diamonds in her eyes, she'd look exactly like our relative. Yeah. So do tell me some more about the dates. This EP that you recently released. Tell me some more about, like, making it and also the significance of those dates.
Okay, perfect. So, well, April 25 is actually my birthday, and I think that this whole new 2021 year, because it's kind of an after the pandemic, we're still on it, but it's like everything has more certainty than 2020 was. We didn't know a lot of things. So I kind of wanted to, give it like a proper date of birth to this Camoragi, man. And each song it comes from, I always write a lot of things in my notebook, and these dates come from not the date that I actually wrote, certain thoughts, but the date I actually make them songs in my, in Ableton. I use Ableton. Mm-hmm. So it's the precise date I made the project, and it's kind of a way for me to remind myself about what I was going through or certain decisions I actually made through my music. Mm-hmm. Decisions in my life, to, leave some people behind and, move forward in certain things. So I put those dates to remind myself and, put things in perspective. When you have dates, sometimes it puts things in perspective and gets you thinking, oh, at this moment I was doing this, and you're like, and I went past that and now I'm, better. So you don't feel kind of, so yeah, that's kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's one of the. I love my phone. Will occasionally. I can't believe I just said I love my phone. But occasionally my phone will do this thing where it's like, hey, this is a picture you took last year today, 1 year ago today, and I love those little reminders, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can kind of remember the thoughts I had that day because I see the picture.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
that same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, and that's kind of because it was very, a new moment for me. So I wanted to remind myself what got me there. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Well, speaking, kind of perfectly segues into the first question I'd like to ask you about your kind of artistic experience, and that would be to share with us something in your time creating this music, or just in your time creating. It doesn't have to be the last year you've been producing this EP and all that, but tell us some about hard times you've had or lessons you've learned through struggle or even failure.
I think that one of the hardest moments for me that did happen last year was not feeling the support of people that I was surrounded. My certain, well, they were not friends, but kind of friends that I had, that they didn't support my music, and they were like very, not just not supportive, but very, I don't know how to say this, bad critics, like, I don't know, that they would say, no, it's not bad, you should stop doing that, or things like that. Not just saying like, yeah, kind of like. So that was not good. And I almost didn't even drop anything. I was like, yeah, it is bad because I heard it and I was like, oh my god, yeah. And it was because, of course, I was learning. I was in the beginning, and I didn't understand about EQing or certain things. And I mean, thank God I don't know how I got there. And I thought, well, they don't know about music, so how can they be criticizing me if they don't know about music? I mean, and yeah, I stopped in a way. That's where I closed certain doors and I stopped sharing what I was doing, and I just closed the doors and I was just doing my thing, not even saying to anyone. And that actually brings me to the high point that I wanted to share. I don't know if I can share.
Go ahead, absolutely.
Yeah, the high point or the high moment that I was done with a song that is called Through My Eyes. I had it basically done, and I started thinking, how can I share it? I had no idea about DistroKid and all that. And I remember that I was on TikTok and I saw someone saying that through Reddit they would find communities to share things, share art and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a Reddit account.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know how, I got into IMF. I got a message that said that they had a Discord, and I was like, oh, I use Discord, and I got in, and I remember so vividly that I got into the general channel, and it was Bug. He was there, and I don't remember who else was there, but I just remember Bug because it's hard to forget. There's a Bug. And and I actually shared Infinite, and they were like so supportive, and I think I almost cried because I was like, how can people be so supportive? People who don't know me be so supportive, and people who actually knew me and were kind of friends or whatever, they could be so mean. So I was like, oh my god, there's good out there. And and that's what actually gave me the strength to put the EP out and put everything out. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that's a fantastic thing to share. I remember
Thank you.
Similar, having a realization that like there are people who will appreciate my art. I just don't happen to know any of them in real life. And like taking confidence from that and using that confidence to grow stronger into what I wanted to make more. And now I'm making things with a confidence that the people in my life do respond to, because I was learning. And like you said, like you grow more into yourself. That's wonderful. I'm really grateful you shared that. I also like how often when I ask people for high points on this show, they just say, IMF exists. Somebody should send Pax and Volps a fruit basket or something. They're really doing important work.
They're amazing.
Yeah. I don't want to rush past the opportunity for anyone else on the call to speak into what Camoragi has said. Have you had similar experiences or insights that may apply?
I definitely find like the server was so motivating, like especially when I first joined. It was like, beginning of the pandemic, and like I spent a lot of time just making music myself because the server was so encouraging and it was so easy to get help and get constant feedback and encouragement. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Find that too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, like it's a very good way to make like IMF. I don't know the phrase. Like is where your music is heard, and it's definitely true.
Yeah.
You can have like dozens of feedbacks and people listening to you, and positive feedback and negative feedback that is good, which is good as well. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I agree completely.
It's reachable, very reachable.
What do you mean by that? Help me understand.
I mean, when I said reachable, I mean like it's easy. It's easy to just come here, share your stuff with us, and get feedback and get everything.
I see. Yeah. For sure, it is very much like it's a lot to take in at first, and I feel like every other place on the internet has taught you nobody wants to hear your song. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a hurdle to come into a place and be looking for like the trap, you know?
Yeah, it's like a pearl in the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I feel like do you Felknia, do you have a track called A Pearl in the Ocean? That just sounds like a cinematic phrase that would
But I'm gonna note it. I'm gonna note it. Sounds good.
write it down and put today's date next to it. And we're gonna make this a jam. But yeah, Camoragi, thank you so much again for sharing not only your track, your video, just your experience, and just being willing to persevere past the difficult phase of learning, because it's hard enough to convince yourself that it's worth going through those like, I'm not doing what I want to do yet phase. And then to have other people tell you it's not worth it, don't continue. But then to survive that, to succeed anyway, like it's wonderful, and I'm very grateful that you've done so. But yeah, I'd like.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Saul. I'd like to move on to your song if you are ready to do so. Would you take a moment to
Yeah,
kind of
sure.
introduce it to me? Tell me something about it.
Okay. This is one of the only songs I'd actually sent in with IMF actually a while back, the Now version of it. It's a song I picked it because it's also a good sort of jumping off of knowing kind of what personally music I would end up writing, and it's a bit sappy, but it's a song that I wrote it and I was like, that feels like a good song, which rarely happens. Like I write it and go like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then and then
I
and
should
it
finish
was
that someday. That's what I usually say when I
yeah,
finish a
yeah.
song.
That you're halfway through and go like, that'd be really cool if like somebody else did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was a song that I wrote like the first bit of Ages, and I did that sort of thing of like, okay, these are the first two lines. That's and then like I came back to it, and it was about a friend of mine who kept on going on and on about this girl he liked, and me going, okay, right. So I think it's a very sweet song. I was like, I actually written it to be really nice. I know the starting point was me going, just go to speak with this person.
Yeah.
Stop telling me about it. I can't do anything in this situation.
Yeah.
I can say yes and no. But from that, and they know this. I've told them, and they find it very funny.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, I enjoy playing it, and I enjoy actually hearing it. So it's a song of mine that I actually like.
Yeah. That's
So,
a wonderful
hence-
way to get started on it. I'll get it playing now.
I know you like her, I know you do. You're a bad liar, and after all, it may be true. I know you like her, I know you do. And if you like her, it doesn't mean I won't like you. There's no sign, no marking path that guides the eyes that wakes you up and lets you sigh. You give it up, well boy, it dies, doesn't die. Baby, you're still worrisome because you're not the subtle touch. And yes, your past ain't said and done, but honestly, you're not the only one. I know you like her, I know you do. You terribly coy, but let's face it, oh boy, doesn't she like you? I know you like her, heaven knows, and so does hell, so the two don't fight because they know she's yours. But there's no sign, no marking path that guides the eyes that wakes you up and lets you sigh. You give it up, well boy, it dies, doesn't die. Baby, you're still worrisome because you're not the subtle touch. And yes, your past ain't said and done, but honestly, you're not the only one. know you like her, I like her too. So hold her hand and don't let go, 'cause she likes you.
Nice.
So good, yeah, so good.
Yeah. Crazy good.
Very,
I
very
love that song so much, and like you shared it with me when it was just like a voice memo, and I remember having to like search through my messages before to like find the link for it before you uploaded it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like having to message you and be like, "Will you please just upload it somewhere? This is really inconvenient." Anytime I want to listen.
To be fair, I think the reason I uploaded it to SoundCloud was because David and our friend Sarah would keep on pestering me and go, "You should just upload the demo." And I'm
Upload
like,
it.
"No, it's only a demo of it, and I want to, and it doesn't really, fine."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, I think if nothing else, that subtle, intimate live video that you just shared is just the perfect way to hear that song. Just absolute, just the how easy it would have been to make that into like a jam or a rockin', a big rock and roll piece, but it was just so beautifully. The guitar and the vocal were one unified item, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it came to again, thank you. I take compliments very badly. But like when I wrote it, I was writing it for doing open mics, and I still kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a songwriter. Maybe as a person, I don't really like him, but he's got some very good songs, Loudon Wainwright, and I think he said it in an interview at one point. He was like, "I write songs to do on the stage, and to do with just guitar myself."
Yeah.
And then when I went to do an album, they put the other things on it. But that's what it's written. Oops, sorry. That's what it's written for.
Yeah.
I just hit it. And like, it's that sort of thing of that's like songs like that. It's recorded for doing open mics in public, and so my aim now in writing songs is going. I want to write a song that I will get up and do, and somebody who is at an open mic in a bar wouldn't be annoyed. Like that's the aim, and that's setting bars for yourself. It can sometimes be a bit daunting, but it is that thing of, I think it at least helps me, of going like, I want to get it. Maybe I want to try and do something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's
fantastic.
And
has that been? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, has that been an empowering way to write songs? Like thinking in this, I'll be on a stage with a guitar. That's the best thing I can do on a stage with a guitar.
It's very. I think it's probably a very bad practice, but instead, I think it gives me a hint of um, adrenaline from fear. There's a John Prine who's sadly passed and a great songwriter. He wrote a song called Souvenirs, and he said he wrote it because he was like, I kept on doing gigs, and there'd be the same people turning up. And I realized I better have at least one new song for that one person.
Yeah, yeah.
Because surely they'll be annoyed because I've only got like 7. I need an 8.
Yeah.
And I kind of use it by that logic. There's a certain amount of and fear of like, oh yeah, I'll be going down to, like, when I was back in Belfast, I'll be like, I'm going down and David's going to be there and he's already heard all the stuff. I need to have a third song that's different that he hasn't heard before.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the very least, there's something interesting for them. Which also, I mean, that's the thing sometimes, and I find my writing style ends up, it happens in bursts. And whenever I have some sort of deadline, that burst comes a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So even if I don't get something, I'll get, it may not be good, but it will be there, and that's better than not. I prefer to get whatever it is out.
Yeah.
And then I can move on, and I can learn from it, or I can go like, that was actually quite good, and I'll keep that.
Yeah. It's funny how often like a lack of deadline or structure feels like we fantasize about that being a freeing thing, but really it's just like it's too much. Like people in a creative practice need some sort of goal, or something to work towards. I think, I've discovered that in my own time. Like if I have something to be practicing for, I will practice.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's on top of that, and I'm sure others will want to join in with this one. But that's what I find with IMF. IMF, again, you probably noticed, I'm not on it as much, and I keep on wanting to be, but I keep on telling people, even that I meet in York, and I'm doing a music production course, and I've told all of them, you should go join IMF.
Yeah, yeah.
The reason being is that it is such a great way of getting into a sort of routine. There is that thing we were talking about, the sort of getting into this sort of thing. Oh, there's an open mic, and there's this really great schedule and really great things to do, and you have other people, and that, and the other thing which I found earlier, which I love about IMF, is it kind of also it kind of makes you, not only do you send in stuff and get really so much nicer responses than you get just in the world, it also kind of makes you want to be, you want to like I want to listen to other people's music. They keep on sending stuff in, and it's that thing of trying to also get you to like listen to the whole community stuff. Which I love. It is that thing. But those two things, it's like, IMF gives that schedule, and it gives you this community that you really want to join in with.
Yeah, completely.
And it helps in lockdown.
Yeah, I know I definitely had that before, where like I'm working on something and it's like, okay, I'll get it done for the next live community review. I've got to get at least something to show there. I've got to get something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, is that with everybody else as well? It is that thing of just...
If I don't have a deadline, I'll keep tweaking those knobs in the mixer or whatever for ever and ever, and not really making any difference.
Yeah. I think that is definitely... It's so difficult. There's such a sweet spot where it's a good group of your friends encouraging you to hit a deadline. You are not trying to force yourself to do it. No boss is going to get mad at you if you don't do it. It is this perfect place of like a goal you'd like to hit with your best effort. I'm with you. I wish there was a way to better capture that without needing a computer and a phone and a Reddit account and all the things we've listed that have helped us like find that. I wish there was a way to. almost like a music program, you know, like you're in a production school program, almost like that, but you don't have to pay thousands of dollars a year to to show up to it.
Oh,
IMF.
Yeah. But
David,
yeah,
you were gonna say.
yeah, what were
I
you
thought
gonna
you
say?
Oh, I was gonna say IMF called me and let's all go live in the woods and make
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
Personally, I think that'd be a great idea.
I'll chop wood.
Hang
Yeah.
on, I'll get my marks.
But I want to, Saul, before obviously before we move on to the next song, I'd like to know some of the things you've learned through maybe the low points, the struggles, or failures in your time making this music. What have been some of the low times?
Definitely low times. I would busk a lot, and for people who I would advise busking and I wouldn't. It's a very double-edged sword. You very quickly learn. For me, that again, it's like some of it comes from just. There's a bad side is it comes from like you have a little bit of a survival thing of just like I just need to be like good enough that nobody wants to annoy me and I don't annoy anybody else. But also so like the low points can come from whenever stuff from like busking happens. Although now looking back, I mostly find them funny. Which also is having a good consistency of humor if you're doing stuff. And being able to say you will mess up. Again, there was that Adam Neely video, and he spoke about the biggest sort of gig screw up he had, and it is the thing of the worst thing that can possibly happen when you're doing live music or doing music in general is embarrassing yourself. But actually, that is the worst thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
We all embarrass ourselves. That's okay. And trying to get over, and for me, busking helped that. I wouldn't instruct people to do it though. I think IMF is a far better way of getting through kind of this kind of fear. And so like it does result in some of the. Again, now looking back, I find them funny, but actually at the time, yeah, they made me feel like crap.
Yeah.
Like an old lady walking past me, I'd been singing for about 3 hours at that stage, and I was about to close up, but she walked past right here, right, and then just went like, "Your voice sounds terrible," and then just walked on. And I was like, "Okay, you old." Damn it. It felt bad. Man. But then also that instructs me to, I probably shouldn't sing for 3 hours or my voice I mean, I was already going anyway. But also it hurts whenever somebody says anything like that to you. And I mean, then a high point is getting over that and any time. I mean, again, doing open mics, I do still really enjoy as a getting off the stage and having somebody who I don't know say that was good.
Yeah.
That feels one. And IMF is a place of I don't know any of these people, and I put something up that I didn't even know was good enough, and they tell me they tell me the stuff to improve on it as well, and that for me actually feels like it's a high point. Is just being able to make something that others enjoy as well as yourself. Yeah. So make it for yourself and then aim so that at least the other people can enjoy it is my aim. And so when that happens, that's a high point.
Absolutely.
Or the time I was busking and an old lady gave me, I guess, another old lady.
Where are you busking?
Give me a pack. Well, it's very close to an old folks' home. Actually, that's fair. No, I was about to be mean and go like, I was outside of. No, I was busking and for a specific time of just this is really funny to me and it's really nice. She didn't give me money, which I don't really care that much about. She gave it was a packaged present. She gave a present and I put it in the box and kind of went and walked off. It wasn't near Christmas, but even then, and I took it out, and it was a box of chocolate biscuits.
Nice.
And I still have that up on Instagram as like that was one of the funniest sweet things I've had anybody. I'm doing okay, even whenever anybody says something bad or something. Okay, actually, you know what? There are people that enjoy it, and like, it is. it's just having people there to enjoy it, and now knowing there is a place online that's you will have someone there who may enjoy it, and they're actually willing to listen and give you a chance.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
But that would be a highlight. I love that day. That was a fun day. I went down to the open mic that night and ate biscuits. It was great.
Yeah.
I didn't share it with anybody. I'm really selfish.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah. You know, the balance was achieved briefly when this second old lady came to correct the first old lady's mistake. But then you hoarded the cookies or the biscuits.
well, I had to. They were really nice cookies. They were Marks and Spencer's cookies.
That's
You don't know what that means, but David does.
if it's got two people's names on it, it's got to be a pretty fancy cookie. I know that much.
Oh, they were fancy cookies. Aren't they fancy cookies, David?
Very much so.
They're very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm lying. I
Very
think
middle
I
class.
did give up. Yeah. I can't quite remember what that night was, but I do remember. Again, it's the photo thing. There's a photo on my Instagram of it. And
Yeah.
so I'm not like it was very sweet, and if that can happen, if that happened once, and I'm like, I'm good. If I just stay at this, if I go on to be a teacher, if I don't mind what I do in life, that was a highlight as a musician. Just that was really lovely.
Absolutely.
So now I kind of want to go around getting biscuits for buskers instead.
Yeah.
I've got
we'll
dog
play
treats
for
guys
we'll
with
play for
dogs.
biscuits around your neck.
It's a nice thing.
You've got to do, like Tom Morello has stuff, written on his guitar like Woody Guthrie did, and you just need to put on your guitar, this machine plays for biscuits or something.
Honestly, getting the Jammy Dodger or something, or Jaffa Cake.
Yeah.
And they're telling you get endurance down, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think that there's a high risk, high reward thing that comes with playing live in any context. Especially playing live in a context where no one is expecting to hear live music. They didn't.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't agree to come into a bar to hear an open mic. They're just walking down the sidewalk. That person's going to be the most ruthlessly honest person available. So receiving.
Oh, I learned that. Yeah.
Receiving positive or negative feedback in that context is going to help you if you allow it to help you. It's going to help you further refine. If you start from a place of loving your own music, then everything is going to help you love it better. Negative criticism or positive feedback, either one. And I think live, putting your music out there live, even sharing live YouTube versions of your music, is a really special way to kind of get more of that going.
It is right.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't know. Felknia, I don't think have you done any sort of like live streams or anything with your music as far as live performance?
I do very rarely. I do live streaming production, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And I don't play instruments, so I can't really play in gigs or stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe a few years ago I would have said, you're right, you don't play any instruments. But man, knowing how to use a DAW well is absolutely an artful practice.
It's an incredible skill.
Yeah.
I still don't have it. I'm doing a course for it, and it doesn't even help that much.
Yeah. But have you found Felknia because I'm thinking of your music as almost as far removed from what Saul does as possible. It's all in the
It's
DAW.
true.
It's all orchestral. There's no vocals. There's no lyrics. There's very little space to do it live. But
If I wanted to do it live, it would be struggling.
Yeah. And that's okay. Not everything is made to be the same thing. But which is a stupid sentence, but you know what I mean. But have you found when you do those production live streams, have you ever had that sort of positive or negative interaction where people are able to maybe provide you with additional insights? Has it been valuable to do those live streams for you, or is it more of a performance?
It's good to have the direct feedback. For example, I was working on an orchestral song with a tabla, and the tabla is a percussive instrument which has a tone, and it's really hard to pinpoint the frequencies of these tones but I have a friend which has a perfect pitch. He was able to tell me directly, oh, it should be like 3 comma lower or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would have missed this feedback if I did not do it live, and my tabla would have been out of tune. So yeah, definitely.
That's excellent. Yeah. Sorry. Somebody just quoted back to me the dumbest thing I've said today, and it made me laugh. I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. Yeah, I appreciate that. And Camoragi, have you had much experience doing any kind of live performance, or is it mostly your family hearing you through the wall that counts?
No, well, I used to sing a lot when I was in high school, but like there were events in this, it was not my original music. I was like, it was Mother's Day or whatever, and they would say for me to sing. But no, I haven't, and I want to. I want to really to make live performances, and I'm planning actually to record something like with my guitar and put it on YouTube, but I haven't had the time. But I really want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
I don't know if you listen to the noise because it's raining where I am, so I'm sorry for that.
Maybe a little bit of sound, but it's truly not it's not distracting or anything. Yeah, that's cool. I think I mean, obviously there's some element of that high risk, high reward in performing a Mother's Day, singing choir thing, but I feel like it absolutely like ups that ante, for lack of a better term, when it is your own, original stuff that you're putting out there in the world to be accepted or rejected. So I'm excited. I hope to see some of your live YouTube stuff soon.
Yeah, I hope to do it soon, and I really, really want to learn from Felknia because I love orchestral music, and wow, it's amazing that you're actually making it. And I would love to introduce that in my songs, but I had no idea how to do it. So yeah, I really want to learn from you.
It's very doable.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic. Felknia, you've got a deadline now, man. You need to get some more live streams
Apparently.
going. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
David, I know you guys have done some live stuff, right? Have you found that to be a good source of positive, negative, or mixed feedback?
Definitely, yeah. Most of the live stuff I've done has been just solo open mics. I think the first one I ever did, it went terribly, which in a way was a good thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, it was kind of like the next one was a lot easier because I was like, "Well, go that bad." So it was like part of the negative feedback on that one wasn't even anyway. It was more just a lack of anything. Like you can't get off, and everyone's just kind of like. No one says anything. No, everyone's just kind of ignoring. You just pretend it didn't happen. That was fine.
Yeah.
I saw your open mic. It was good.
Oh, this was the first one a while ago. It was not good. there's a lot of that's on the way.
Yeah. It's funny when people are being quiet. They're either like absolutely floored by how good you're doing, or trying really hard to not let on how not good you're doing.
And it's quite obvious when it's the latter.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm sorry. This does remind me of one of my favorite moments. And David, I'm pretty certain you were there. And one of my favorite moments ever doing an open mic was a audience going completely silent at a performance. So it was St. Paddy's. I'll see until he reminds us this story. It was St. Paddy's in Belfast. It was filled. I'm sorry, I'm outing the country, but it was filled with U.S. citizens. It was just filled with Americans, who and you could tell they were louder than everyone else. No, they were very nice, but you could tell that they weren't quite as interested in the fact there was no mic going on. It just happened to be near St. Paddy's.
Yeah,
and so. It was a night of like, we're just gonna have fun if they're there. And that's also the other thing. Whenever things go badly at an open mic, then you realize you can do it. You can go badly, and no, it's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But we went up, and I was doing Werewolves of London, which is a very similar start to Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
And I started playing it, and this entire side of the bar began to clap like that, really getting into it, Dude, please, they were this whole side of the bar. Everyone else is going.
They were losing it.
And then I sang the first lines. The entire side of the bar stopped.
Yep.
Oh.
The entire side.
It's like from Alabama.
The reaction of clap and then went. They really.
Yeah.
I've never watched an audience turn on me so quickly.
Immersive, yeah.
And you know what? At that point, it was just funny. I think I remember just watching David. I think the friends were there, all pissed themselves laughing. It was very funny, and actually, God speak, like they were like as people, they were actually really nice, but you could tell that they were kind of going, huh? They don't imagine they were. You didn't do the thing we thought you were going to do.
Yeah. What about the big wheels? Where are they? Who's Warren Zevon?
What are you doing?
Yeah. That's awesome.
London isn't even anywhere near Alabama.
Going in the wrong continent, man.
Werewolves of Alabama would be a jam, though. Let's
that would be great.
Felknia, can you write that one down too? Werewolves of Alabama.
Werewolves are. That's a good one.
Do people in France know what Alabama is? Because it's.
I would not place it in a map, but I know it's a U.S. state.
Okay, awesome. Hey, that's good. You're closer than some people in the U.S., so good job.
I can place maybe 3 states on a map, but
yeah,
not Alabama.
Awesome.
Also, as somebody who's been to open mics with David actually is very good at open mics. His reviews the first 2 are not like when I met you, I think I went along, you were in the group of people that would be a lot there, and you get.
I think I actually approached you while you were busking, because I'd met you before we jammed in a music shop. Was how we first met.
Yeah.
And then I seen you busking, and I was like, I know you. You should come to the open mic tonight. And then you actually came. People normally don't come.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, usually even your friends who you asked to come listen to you at open mic don't come, but this guy actually came and played. That's wild.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really appreciate you guys sharing that. I feel like it's becoming a rare occurrence, because it's quite easy to do almost all of your creating in your computer, online, sharing it online and stuff. And I think that there is something quite essential or maybe quite unique about performing live, putting yourself in a situation where you can make mistakes and then react to those mistakes, because those are, everyone's going to make mistakes. I make mistakes every single time I touch an instrument, and not everybody can tell, and that's that's what you learn playing live, is how to not let everybody know you just made a mistake.
My music teacher, I remember my music teacher telling me at one point when we were going to do a performance thing, she went, most audiences don't know a crotchet from a hatchet, so don't worry about it.
Nice. Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I would like to go ahead and move on. I certainly don't want to rush anybody, but I want to hear the track Felknia you're going to share with us today. Do you want to tell us some about it before we listen to it?
So this is in the context of an album about a crew of pirates going through adventures. So this is near the end of the album. So the pirates meet a bunch of dragons and get their ass kicked. So this is about that.
You had me at pirates, but you've really captured my heart at dragons.
I can understand.
So I'm down. Let's jump into it, and then we'll talk some more about it. Wonderful stuff. I love how obviously we keep using the term like cinematic for your music, but it's not just 4 minutes of the same scene. It's very storytelling. It's got movements and ups and downs and it's just really well made, man. There's no point in it that's abrupt. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask about that. Like, so did you start out with the story and then build it on that, or did you like go with like building this album? Did you have something that sounded piratey and you went, I could write more pirate stuff. I could expand that. Like, where did you find
I have like a universe in my mind in which I write stories, and when I write my music, I try to tell stories from this world. So most of the story for this album is already in my mind. If that answers.
Do you start playing with musical concepts and then you say, oh, this goes with that story that, such and such part of the story?
I try to get leitmotif that works. For example, this song goes from 4/4 to 3/4, and the part in 3/4 is a melody that was already used somewhere in the album. It's the theme of the pirates. So I came up with it, and I tried to write another leitmotif for the dragons and mash them together.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's like a well, I mean, it's like a musical or like an opera. You know what I mean? Like that. That's how those types of things are made, where it's just like one overture like travels through these other sections and slowly changes as other concepts will happen.
Yeah. I put a lot of importance in leitmotifs and motifs that are recognizable from even one song to the other, or sometimes like a wink wink, this is from this song or something like that.
That's fantastic. I like that.
Do you think so does that mean that does it get easier or harder as you go on? Because like the more you do, you have leitmotifs for everything, so you've got some music written, but it's hard to like match them together.
It helps. Like sometimes it's limiting, but sometimes limitations are good for creativity. So I would say it helps more than it hurts.
Yeah. Have you ever had an entire song where you almost have trouble being creative in it because all the motifs are established and you're just working with existing pieces, or has that never really been a problem?
Well, this one, for example, I started this song in 2018, and I really struggled to make sense of the direction I wanted it to go, because I wanted a good melody for the dragons, and I knew I had my pirate theme, but it was not easy to match them together because one is in 3/4, the other was in 4/4. But I just went with the flow, and it clicked. One day it clicked, and it worked.
Yeah, it absolutely worked. I'm pulling my my wires.
Sometimes I struggle like for months and years to get an idea, and then in the shower I have a click, and I do the song in 2 hours.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Like that.
Yeah, I think I love, like, it's a recurring theme in a lot of just like creativity, motivational reading, and content that I've stumbled on or intentionally like checked out from the library or whatever, where they try to say like your best ideas are going to come to you when you're occupied, not when you're stressing, not when you're obsessing or agonizing over the idea.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So are you? Do you often? I guess whenever you hear one of these themes or these motifs in your head, is it easy for you to then translate that into music?
Usually what I do is I record myself with my phone. And most of the time it's out of the shower, because I don't know why most of my ideas come from the shower. And then it's not always right, like there might be some notes that are wrong or the key is off, but that's fixable from the recording.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. I love hearing
like the method I use is I message myself, and for example I message myself like, I send myself a message. This is this, and then I sing, and then if I have more ideas, I can sing more after. Things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that it starts like so human, but then becomes so orchestral. You know, like it would take dozens of humans to recreate what started as you getting out of the shower and getting your phone all wet to sing to it, you know, to hum to it. Bug has a theory that if we get you a waterproof laptop, you'll be unstoppable. I think he's
not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Not a bad idea.
I like it. But yeah, I want to, you know, obviously anybody who has anything at all to say, feel free to say it. I'm going to talk when no one else is talking, pretty much the whole time.
Well, I was thinking it was just sorry, I just had to run off and
Please
go to Luke. I came back. But like
you're not
coming up with ideas. Having what? No. This isn't the bathroom. This is a very creative mirror. No. Having voice memos on it is a dream and a curse. It's that earlier thing of it. Also, it makes you have a lot of. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
Recording, just loads of them. But yeah, I know what you mean. I usually have I come up with the little sort of like a harmony to a part of a song that I was thinking of in the middle of the night, and so I would just get out of bed. And I'll be just like very quietly humming it in, and then I like find it later on. That's the problem sometimes with the voice memo thing. Maybe not even the messaging, because I think messaging you'll see it maybe a bit better than you will with like voice memos, because I'll end up forgetting, and then I'll be like months down the line, and I'll just be flicking like, what's this one? Just labeled nighttime.
Yeah. Especially the one you record in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
so you want to be quiet.
Like a Muppet, and you're just going. Groucho, is that you?
Yeah, and I always give them stupid names, so I never know what they are. I'm just looking through, just go like, what is that?
That was the advice David actually once gave me. You gave me 2 pieces of advice, which are very good pieces of advice, but also does make it look really weird. Which was always name whatever you just recorded on the voice memo. Give it a name, and not just E minor guitar idea.
Yeah.
Which I now do. And the second one you said to me was, whenever you're doing any of these and you don't have the words of the song, you don't have the melody, still try and just, even if it's just a demo, don't go la la la. Always try and make up sounds of words, because you might actually come up with whatever the words are.
Yeah.
David, that's very good advice.
That's how I essentially write lyrics. I'm mumbling until the mumbles turn into words, and then I have to go, what's that about?
Yeah.
And I have to write the rest of the song. What is that about?
Yeah. I didn't write the song. I just found it. I found it in the gibberish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was what's it called in English when it's not work, but like you're at school and you visit work to see how it works.
Oh, like a
internment. Yeah. I was an intern. I had the phone. Yeah, I had a phone, but it was I was very, very young. And I was at a client and I heard his ringtone. And I said, I have to remember this. But I could not record it because there was my client, there was my boss. So I was and I could not record it for almost 2 hours. And I was like, no, because I did not want to forget it.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a real struggle, and I probably look like a stupid guy, like singing by himself. What is he doing?
I'll walk around my yard mowing, push mowing my yard, and I will write a brilliant song. And I think the whole time I'm mowing, I'm gonna sit down as soon as I stop mowing. I'm gonna record. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna record it. Whatever. By the time I get to the anything to do that with, I'm like, I have no idea. It probably wasn't actually a good song, and I do not remember it now.
That's what I tell myself whenever I've thought of something in the car.
Yeah.
I get out of the car and I've forgotten it, and I tell myself, well, it wasn't that good in the first place. And also, there's another part of my brain going, damn it, Saul.
Yeah. It was the best thing you've ever written. It was so good.
It's always a fun car journey. You're like turning the radio off and just sitting there singing it to yourself over and over again. Like if anyone
Yeah.
If anyone heard that car journey,
Oh yeah.
absolutely demented.
I always have to check my phone to make sure I haven't pocket dialed somebody when I realize I've been either swearing really loud in my car for an extended period of time. You know, it's just like you said, sometimes you put like fake words in, but sometimes you just say nonsense words, you know, like make up a song about the other cars on the road. You're really just trying to figure out what the melody is at that point. So you're just swearing at these other cars for no reason. I do that a lot.
Oh
But,
yeah. Coming up, yeah, and then coming up like I always like having sort of stories and songs and stuff, and coming up with the storyline.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
then-
Yeah.
Or like getting out of the car and you're like, okay, that was the actual idea, but I can't remember what the tune even of whatever that idea was, and so you just have to write down. I have to write down on my phone, you know, person, you know, just like the whatever the idea of the theme was.
I think what we're learning right now is that we all need some sort of like a Siri, you know, like that kind of thing. But it's like specifically like an artist buddy, you know. And like at any point, it doesn't tell anybody what you're talking about because that's creepy. That's why nobody likes Siri. But you know, at any point, you can voice activate it from the shower and just start wailing at it, and it'll just record it, and it'll be there when you want it. You know?
Hey Siri,
Yeah.
hey Siri, add this to my doll.
Yeah, yeah. Felknia. I feel like we're having a wonderful time talking about the things you've already shared, but I do want to know: have you had any specifically low times, or maybe lessons you've learned through struggle or failure while making this music?
Well, this particular song, it was getting the idea of how I wanted to make it, and there was many iterations. I could not find a melody for the dragons, and in a more like, if I had to, or where am I getting with this sentence? What I want to say is I'm very slow at making music, and I'm working on several projects at the same time. So I think I told you this before, but since I take so long to make my music, let's say I finish a song and then I finish another song for the same project like 2 years later, and then I come back to this first song and I said, this is not at the same level at all. And so I'm in sort of a feedback loop. And for example, like I have an EP/LP that's really about to get out of the oven very soon, but I wanted to tweak the mix of one of the first songs, and I ended up writing the entire intro. So
Yeah.
I still have more ideas coming, even if I finished it 2 years ago or something like that. So yeah, this is what I struggle with, is being slow and working on too many things at the same time. But at the same time, I have ideas that I don't want to lose. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Is that something you guys have had any experience with?
Yeah, it's like the artistic version of like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the mountain, and you know, when you come back to it, it finds out, oh yeah, I can push that rock a little further actually,
Yeah.
and then you know you be able to just push it a little further and just keep making it better. So
Yeah.
it never stop.
Yeah. And
Stop
well,
taking
but,
shots.
but the thing is that it's almost like there is a top, but you get up there and you're like, nah,
There's no top, no.
let's just push it back down. Let's just push it back down and start over.
For example, the song that I just shared with you, I think it's my top at the moment. But I don't know what I will think next year or in 2 years. But
Yeah,
I think at the moment,
It's important. Like it's a. I talked with a friend of mine he's been writing songs for most of his life. You know, and he's 38, I think, and he said he started when he was old enough to pick up a guitar, basically just writing songs. And he said one thing that's become very important to him is he's really glad he has all these recordings and these ideas from this life of his, because he can revisit those as touch points to who he was then. You know, it's not about it was imperfect then. It's about that's who I was. That's what I could make then. You know, and I think it's a really
Yeah. I really feel like Camoragi kind of touched into that really well with the whole EP cut.
It's good. It's good. I'm apparently.
Yeah, I think I also struggle with that, with not being sure if the song is ready too. And I I also like all the songs that I actually dropped on April. They took me like a year to make, a little bit more than a year. But I think it also depends on your own process, like because I mean, at the end of the day, you want to make something that makes you happy. So if it doesn't actually, kills you to be having the song like 2 years or whatever, I think it's okay, because to me, I was like getting into this crazy loop of fixing it, fixing it, fixing it again, and to one point that I was getting stressed. So I decided to drop it, to drop certain songs. But if you are actually happy while making those changes because you're getting to that certain vision, I think it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it depends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My issue is always half things. Yeah, it's like there's a riff or something, and I mean, just this morning before the podcast, I'd had a riff for a song, like the whole sort of melody stuff, and I'd had that I think for a year. Never knew what words to put to it, and this morning reminded myself, and actually I've written it, and it's now on SoundCloud, because I was supposed to be doing work this morning, but didn't. But like that's my thing with the voice memo thing. It's like it is so easy to go back and you hear something from like a couple years, and also going back and listening to something, going like, how did I play that?
Yeah.
You're like, how did that thing go? Is like and looking back on lyrics.
I heard a story about Tony Iommi one time, that like there are whole Black Sabbath albums he doesn't remember how to play, which seems impossible because all the Black Sabbath riffs are basically the same, like same key, same type of stuff. But yeah,
I heard Zeppelin were like that. When they're like, they did the reunion show, and like a lot of they're preparing for, like Jimmy Page had played that solo once when he recorded it and never again.
Yeah.
And like it was the drummer who was filling in for, their drummer was dead, obviously, was the one who was like, no, it goes like this and then like this, and I'm like, oh.
That's funny. Yeah, can you imagine you're in Led Zeppelin and you have to watch YouTube videos of 13-year-olds teaching people how to play your solo to remember how to play your solo? Yeah, that's
completely unrelated to this. Fun fact for me and David about Led Zeppelin and Stairway to Heaven. Apparently, the first place that they played it live was Belfast.
Oh wow!
Oh.
At the city, at the
Ulster Hall.
Not the one beside the Europa, the other one, the music hall one.
Yeah, Ulster Hall. That one.
Yeah, and apparently the
apparently
Belfast
everyone
audience that they didn't like it. Apparently, you can look it up, and it was like John Paul Jones went quite uninterested and basically wanted us to go into the next song.
That's funny. Yeah, that's great.
Completely unrelated. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was like,
totally
oh yeah,
unrelated.
Led Zeppelin. That's really funny to me, and I was like, and it was Belfast one.
Yeah.
It was like place. We're like, nah, lads, do Dazed and Confused, please.
Yeah. Anything. Let's get to the next one. There's a have you guys seen Documentary Now?
Yes.
I
have.
It's Fred Armisen and
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader, yeah,
Seth
and they're doing these
Meyers.
fake documentaries, and one of them is like the rise and fall of this band. And during one of the songs, one of the members is apologizing for the song because the other guy in the band wrote it. Like it's in the he's like, the song's almost over, don't worry. That scene, I don't remember much about that.
Is that the Blue Jean Committee?
I think
Blue
it
Jean
is.
Committee?
Yeah. The
I think I'd watched that recently.
yeah.
That has some very enjoyable, but it's also like it's just like the joke of like we went to the studio and he came in and we became a California band.
Yeah.
We'd been Chicago band.
Yeah.
And now we had to wear all these denim.
It's good. It's a good show. Anyway, it's
is
not
a
the
very
show
good
we're
show.
on right now. We're on a different
No,
show.
it isn't.
Yeah. Felknia, please tell me some of just the unforgettably high, wonderful points that you've had in this time making music.
Well, what I spoke about struggling with being slow is I realize my progress. And I had a like I mentioned these things on IMF, and Dewey told me like, yeah, that's a good thing. You can see how much you've improved, and this is a high for me because indeed I can see and I can feel like my music is getting better. It's getting easier for me. So this is a very feel good thing to me.
Yeah.
And like my upcoming album is all about remaking very old songs, like my very first orchestral songs. I'm gonna make a full album of remakes, like from A to Z, and yeah, I can see what was my mistakes. There was no harmony. There was some
Yeah.
very bad stuff, and
That's awesome.
I can see easily what was wrong and how I can improve it, and I feel good about that. Like just improving
Yeah,
feels good.
I feel like having ahead of time the number of songs or the specific songs you're going to be redoing is
Yeah.
a real like powerful remedy for this cyclical nature of like, and then I had to go back and fix that one, and I'm not quite sure when this one's done, and
Yeah,
how many
exactly.
tracks are coming. Yeah, that's excellent. I'm excited to hear that.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, awesome,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate it.
And yeah, and most of the positive stuff is getting it heard as well. Like I love to post it on IMF and other social networks, and sharing my world and my melodies and my characters and my stories.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good. It's good. It warms my little heart.
I'm glad. I am very glad to hear that. I just I wish quarantine. I was trying to think of the word quarantine there. Hadn't taken D&D away from us all so viciously.
Yeah.
Because your music, like I always struggle to find good music to play while I'm like playing D&D, and your music would be perfect for that. Like I think not only would it play well as like a background thing, it would motivate people to play better because they're
Yeah,
hearing this
true.
like epic, wonderful stuff.
Yeah. And since most of my music does not have lyrics, it can fit in a lot of contexts.
Yeah, that's
Maybe,
true. That's
I
true.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except I don't know, man. That swashbuckling part, you can't just have that playing at like a tea shop, Like
Yeah, of course,
you
of
got to be
course.
really close to a boat to listen to that, right? Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with me. I want to take a moment before we get into the song David's going to be sharing with us. I want to talk about our dear friend, our dear creative friend and sister show, I like to call it, Life's Everyday Soundtrack. It's got a new episode today. So anybody taking time to listen to this, I believe it's 5:00 Eastern time, right? Yeah? Okay. 5:00 Eastern time. I always get Eastern and Central mixed up because everybody except me seems to go off Eastern, but I'm always talking in Central. And it's going to be fantastic. Life's Everyday Soundtrack, if you don't know, is a show where an artist produces some stems, which is a fancy production word for tracks or sounds. It could be a bass part, a melody part, and a vocal part. And then multiple producers get those stems, and then they make completely different, insane, wonderful, beautiful, creative tracks out of these shared stems. And no two tracks are ever alike, and it is a beautiful representation, and that representation is the best word I'm going to find. So it's a beautiful representation of how creativity works across a community, because everybody's going to make things differently, even when you're working with the same 6 strings on a guitar or the same, dolls or the same stems. We're all going to bring ourselves into it, and I love that about Life's Everyday Soundtrack and Saran, and of course Bentley. All hail Bentley, the true decision maker over there at Life's Everyday Soundtrack. But anyway, you guys should check that out. I'll be sure to put links to that and everything you might need to know about that in this show wherever I am uploading it later. But that being said, I actually, are any of you guys on today's episode of Life's Everyday Soundtrack? No? I didn't know for sure. I haven't seen the list
Sadly
in the last few
not.
minutes. Yeah.
There's could be interesting.
Yeah, you should. You definitely should. Yeah, I was going to give you a moment to talk about your own thoughts and feelings about it if you wanted to, but if you're not on it today or...
I participated in season 9. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I think I was on one of the early ones, and it was like the first time I ever did anything in a DAW that wasn't just recording stuff, you know? It was life-changing in the weirdest way.
It's a good exercise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
As I said, like, it's limiting, but limits are great for creativity, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've done this sort of thing. Again, it's on our course, we've done that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it actually is a very good way of... You drop all of anything you thought. Like, when I'm doing my own stuff, it's, you know, thinking, I didn't like that guitar, but I'm going to hide it and mix it. Whenever you're just given the stems, it's like, okay, you're completely not thinking at all about anything, even, like... There is an emotional attachment to that music, whatever it is, because it always will be, but you don't actually feel that attachment of, like, you to have that separate of, like, okay, I'm going to make this the way I think it should sound, the way I think the other people thought it should sound, and mixing it, mixing something that you haven't done is a really, really good exercise.
Yeah, it's practicing a lesser stimulated skill, you know, it's using...
And you're not worrying about it being, you know, you're not worrying about like the actual production of it or the instruments or who the singer was or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's there, and you've just got to mix it.
Yeah, you can have an emotional attachment to it without having as much of an ego attachment to it.
Yeah,
you don't feel like people are going to judge you based on it. You know, like you're just having fun making the thing.
It kind of, you can feel a little bit more sort of.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think the process is kind of for me at least. I think it's that I didn't self-criticize that much because I knew I didn't make the actual stems. Uh-huh. So exactly like Saul said, it's like you just go for it. And I think in a way it helps you, to me at least when I participated, it helps me be more creative because I was not criticizing everything every track. I was like just putting everything together. So yeah, it's definitely really, really great.
That's excellent. It shows in the tracks that are made because you get about a month to work with these stems, you know, in addition to whatever your normal life and your normal creative flow is. Like you get a month to work with them, and everything that I've heard produced through this, you know, month or so of people working on stuff all sounds so top notch and professionally and passionately done, you know. It's a good
bangers.
Yeah, bangers. Yeah. Tom Haverford approved. I don't know if that makes any sense. The guy from Parks and Recreation. He only listens to bangers. It's like a whole episode, I think. Anyway, David, let's listen to this song. You want to tell me something about it before we jump into it?
So yeah, this was our first single. Bluesy story, groovy. Just nice to be hard rock track, and we're able to make a video for it, which was awesome. Even in COVID times. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true, man. Overcoming. Again, the limitations are sometimes helpful for the creativity. Let's listen.
can't get all away. Can you crack a smile? Should you try and hide the pain? Succumb to denial? No, you never had a reason. Wallowing's just fine. Not battling your demons, wasting your time. You're unsalvaged. Are you holding it together? You're fucking damaged. From now until forever.
I feel like there's no calm way to come back from that. Like,
Yeah, that's
gotta,
amazing.
Like I've got to go like have a drink of water, take a moment, self-reflect a bit.
Very
Excellent.
powerful.
Yeah, excellent track, excellent. I'll say again, David is a repeat guest, but the last time you were on, your whole band was on, and we were kind of talking about that process of creating in a band context. I think we talked about making that video too, so if people want to know a little more about the band itself and some of that, look for that episode. I sure wish I had written down which one it is, but I'm almost positive it says Minor Inconvenience in the title, so look it up like that. I don't write down anything before these episodes start. I always realize in the middle of them the things I should have written down. Hey, this robot that's gonna listen to us hum our songs in the shower, it would probably also be a really helpful like reminder, you know, like, hey Chris, have you written down anything? No, robot, I have not. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, really good jam. I think you've told me before, but that harmonic thing. Where did you say you got inspired to do that in the song?
I stole that from Gojira.
Gojira, yeah.
Gojira.
Yeah. The thing is, having the skill to steal it, that's a miraculous thing in and of itself. So
Yeah, I can't. Like, there was a while where there was just a gap there. And I can't go back to just not.
Yeah.
In there, you need to.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff, man. I was saying. I mean, obviously, everyone was commenting, and nothing wrong with any part of that music, but it's very guitar music. It's, you know, like that's the thing that you're like really zooming in on when you're listening to it. And everybody was kind of agreeing, but I said that usually I air drum no matter what I'm listening to, even if it doesn't have drums in it. I'll just air drum, but I always air guitar when I listen to Minor Inconvenience because the guitars are just power. You know, I love them. But yeah, I want to know, David. Speaking about playing in the context of a band, and just some of the highs and lows of creating both as an individual, but also in that context, what have been some of the challenges in making music for you?
Well, the lows come about from, you might expect, from being in a band for like, we've been going in some form for another for like 5 or 6, maybe 6 or 7 years. So it's been a long time. In that time, people come and go. Every time, someone leaves or moves on or is a change in some way, it's just like, oh crap, is it all over now? Is it done now? Are we gonna get back from this?
Yeah.
But generally, those low points, so far, they seem to really just end up working out for the best in the long run. So like our current singer, you've seen there, our bassist X, like he didn't sing before. He was just wouldn't really do it. And we have another singer, and I think we're really glad to have him as a singer now. I think it works really well.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
kind of fortunate, losing singers along the way and kind of getting stuck and going, crap, what do we do now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Just that ability, both at the individual level, but also in the group context, the ability to experiment with filling needs or reacting to issues in that way. And I don't think a person just becomes a singer in a vacuum. Like they've got to have people there to encourage them to do so.
He could definitely always sing. He just, didn't really
Yeah.
want to as much. Yeah, I was took that, kind of push him into the role and suits him well.
I pushed him into it, Yeah. You're the singer now. Sing the song. But yeah. I mean, have there been any specific, I guess, challenges that were maybe harder to overcome in your creative time? It seems like for the most part those types of problems have found their own resolution. But what else has kind of been, I don't know, a drag?
Okay. Yeah. Just the standard kind of band stuff that you kind of have to deal with as it comes. So it's just there might be creative differences where you just when you're working on writing a song, you just have disagreements about where you want to go with it. Just kind of have nowhere it goes out. It's always a drag because obviously the a lot of time is just the opposite of that when everything's just flowing, and it's just kind of the songs are just appearing out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see that. It's the some of the stuff that other people have shared today, but stretched across 4 people instead of just one. Yeah.
But yeah, it's and knowing you guys, I can never imagine an argument between you and over a song. But I can't imagine it. I was actually just thinking another reason. He's a singer, and also he's actually up on. There's your singer being very silly. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been in bands before, and coming in with it's also just sometimes a little bit disheartening when you come in with something and nobody wants to pick up on it. You come in with a riff idea or a song idea, and they're like, "No."
Yeah. It just kind of it happens, and you just kind of you have to leave your ego with it, really, because you kind of
it does kind of
it's really hard
too. Yeah. Which actually is very good. Trying to work with other people, and in a case where you kind of have you have to as well.
And it can be easy to be caught up on, oh, this needs to be a band song, but if it's not working as a band song, that doesn't mean the song's lost and it has to be abandoned. Just do it yourself. You don't need the
That's an important. It's an important. It seems like at least in this conversation, everyone who's in a band is also doing solo things, because that is kind of the. I don't know. It's not even like the idea is not good enough for the band become solo songs, or the idea is not good enough solo become band songs. It's just like there are different kinds of music. There are different kinds of motivations, and there are different kinds of bands. It's not that the solo stuff, David, you write and Don't Make Minor Inconvenience couldn't be a band, some other band. It's just important to have that equanimity for your own ideas. Not be. You are not your band. You are a member of your band. You're also an individual making things. Yeah, for sure. What about?
Also,
go ahead, Saul.
I was about to say, I don't know for you, David, but you get surprised by the things that they do sometimes pick up on. Like,
Yeah,
I sent in a track, and I straight up thought they rejected it completely because it was very country. And like, West Later is a grungy,
Yeah.
to be fair, which is very weird for me as well, especially now that I've cut my hair just to be down. It was longer than like Trex's. Like it was down to here. But I came in with this thinking they would never pick this. I'm gonna send this in. They're gonna go, and I'm just gonna do it open mic from time to time when I want to. I sent it in, and like the guitarist was like, "Yeah, I mean, just slow it down. We could definitely work with this." And I'm just like,
That's
"Really?"
awesome.
But do you find that as well, David? You just end up with like an idea, and you're like, "This, they'll never like this. I'll play it anyway. They'll never like this," and then they do.
They do. I also think you sometimes get like the Sweet Child of Mine thing. Like I remember, I think Slash for that was like just an exercise he was just doing. And then Axel was like, "That's the song." Like that happens. You're just jamming about in something, and you're just messing around. Someone's like, "Oh, what's that?" And you're like, "That's not a." Oh, no, I got this thing over here. Look at this thing. Like,
yeah, this really. I worked on months of this, and they're like, "No, don't worry about it."
Look at that one.
That's
it's
like
that thing of
the song "Jump," right? Apparently, like the guitarist had tried to pitch that song to the band for like years, and they did not care about it until he played it on that synth, and they were like, "That's a hit. Let's make that a song." You know, yeah. You just gotta be water. You know that Bruce Lee quote. You just gotta flow with it, man. It's fine. What about some high points in your time, David? I feel like you guys have, as a band, you guys have really locked in on some positive, waves right now. But even just extending to your time as a solo artist or between bands or whatever.
I think the high point for both is kind of just, like we were kind of talking about it earlier. It's just getting that recognition. Like, and it can be from IMF, but it's also special when it comes from someone that you have absolutely no connection with whatsoever.
Yeah.
So there's like this guy found like our EP on Bandcamp, and he like had like a YouTube channel where he shows off EPs or whatever, and he was like, "Hey, can I put it on?" And he did, and like it was great. Just the fact that he wanted to put it up was great, and then just being able to go and read those comments and seeing positive things in there and be like, "You have no connection with me whatsoever.
Yeah.
We're not even in the same server. Like I don't know you. You're just a stranger."
Yeah. You've got no reason to protect my feelings.
You've got no reason to be nice to me.
Yeah. I love the idea that, like, I mean, it's funny because out in public, in real life, you have a reason to be nice to strangers. It's just the thing you do. But on the internet, nobody has a reason to be nice to anybody, So it's like, it's a very different different feeling. Unless you're Saul, and then old ladies tell you to get off the street because.
No, yeah. I mean, what's worse is being told to your face. I mean, the thing is being told it in public. You also got to give them a little bit of an ounce of, well, you had a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
You're like,
lucky for Saul, the old ladies aren't on the internet. He's safe in the comment section on YouTube.
There's a Facebook
that
group
is
somewhere.
True.
Old ladies against Saul Devlin. Yeah.
I seen him out in that street.
He stole my biscuits.
Terribly stolen.
Yeah.
I put them down for safekeeping, and then he walked out.
He just left. Yeah. Oh, mercy, man. What if mercy? I just can't even. I'm living in this fictional universe now where there's just like this cult of old ladies out to get musicians.
Have you? Okay, that was 1 in a million. It was just a very funny 1 in a million.
Yeah.
You will remember it your whole life.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of but the thing is, I know I can't actually think of the other mean things that have ever been said to me.
Yeah.
I try and forget them, to be fair.
Yeah. No reason to keep them around.
No reason to keep them around, but that one stuck because it was.
That's awesome.
It's like, damn you. It's like I wake up in the morning, so like, it's like whenever you remember there's a villain in a video game, you're like, ah.
Oh man.
Old lady.
Yeah, but you got the chocolates after, so.
Oh yeah.
The biscuits.
But different lady. I think there was a comment earlier on. There was like, was that the same old lady? I was like, no.
Yeah.
This one would not get me biscuits.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I kept asking. Actually, that would explain why. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. There's this whole scene before she said that where you're chasing her. You look kind of old. Do you have any biscuits?
Do you have any biscuits on you?
Yeah.
Like, I know you guys like tea and biscuits, and
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
desperate right now. I've been singing for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, God.
Okay.
Sorry, derailed this completely.
There's no rails. You know, this is more of a Jeep show
Yeah.
than a train show. We're just off-roading all the time. But I'm grateful for you guys. I wanted to say that. You know, we are getting pretty close to the end here. I wanted to thank you one more time just for creating things, for sharing things, for taking time to talk to me about them. But ultimately, just caring about what you do. Like, the only thing a piece of art needs to be like worth making, worth sharing, is just care. And I think that through your care, you've made really outstanding things together with your bands, or individually, or over the years, or you know, your first EP, or whatever it is. You know, like, all these things are incredible, and I love living in a world where they exist. You know, and I want to share them with more people. And I think in making them and caring about them and sharing them, we are naturally going to invite more people to care as well. You know, be it about creating art or just about their everyday lives. And I love it, man. It's good. But I will indeed be closing this show in a moment. I would like to give each of you just a moment. If you have anything that you want to direct people to, I'll be sure any of your links are included in notes and whatnot. But I want, in your own words, where should people find you? Camoragi, where should people find you online?
Well, Instagram, Spotify as Camoragi. I know it's hard to write it. I don't know, but if Camoragi is there, you can find it. And yeah, I just also wanted to say thank you to, for this opportunity and to be able to meet all you guys. You are all amazing, so talented, and I'm just, again, so happy to be here. And I think you summed it up perfectly. So let's hope that this encourages more people to put their art out there. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What about you, Felknia? Felknia. That's not it, right?
Felknia.
Felknia. Yeah, I've forgotten some letters in your name suddenly. Sorry about that. What about you?
Yeah. There's too many letters. So you can find me on mainly Spotify. This is where I check my stats the most. So yeah, check me on. I will type my name because I know it's not obvious. Yeah, and thank you for having me. And I wish more people should come to this community and share their stuff, because this is a great community, and we should share with each other, because without IMF, I would never listen to you guys' music, and I discovered some great stuff thanks to this community.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, I have to echo that. Like, I think creating art is a natural occurrence in a living thing, like in a human being's life. And I think that just like breathing in and exhaling, taking in other people's ideas and other people's beautiful creations is part of that amalgamation creation, kind of thing that we do. So yeah, I agree with that completely.
True.
What about you, Saul? Where should we find you online?
Saul is spelt like Paul, but the P is tripped and turned into an S.
Saul is spelt like Paul, but before he met the Lord. I think
yeah, before Damascus. You can find me on YouTube. Would probably be a nice place if anybody would like to start. There's a few things up there, and then there's SoundCloud, where I put up most of my solo stuff. Where's later stuff you can find on Spotify as well.
Awesome.
And you'll be able to find the song June, and hopefully a second song whenever we get round to that.
Yeah.
Which we are trying to do.
A little more country song? Is that the one where?
No. This one's full on. David's heard the demo of it. It's not country.
Yeah. Awesome. Not awesome that it's not country. Make country. That's fine. I just mean, like, I'm excited to hear.
No. Make country as much as you humanly want.
Yeah.
But we decided to not quite go.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will appear at some point.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear it. What about you, David?
Well, my personal stuff is pretty much just DavidWRCampbell, all the standard places.
Yeah.
Minor and convenient standard social places, and wherever DistroKid puts stuff. you can get, if you can't be our searching us, go to minor-inconvenience.com.
Yeah.
That's feeling.
Yeah, I like it. I
We'll
like
get
it.
it without the hyphen.
I like the mental image of a band meeting happening, and it's like, I don't know, minor threat, and then you look it up, and you're like, nope, that's definitely taken. Minor inconvenience.
There is another minor inconvenience. He wasn't there when we named the band, but he's there now.
We should just go. I don't know if there's a downvote on Spotify, but we should go downvote.
Yeah, still listen to that one. Report him.
Yeah. Well, awesome, guys. Thanks again. Thanks again for being on. We'll say goodbye now, but the party never ends over at IMF or at Life's Everyday Soundtrack. You guys go check that out on YouTube.
Yes.
You can tell I'm serious when my eyes get bigger. But yeah, fantastic, guys. Thank you very much. Until next time, please stay courageous, stay curious, and stay creative.